Hey guys, it's Laura Dabbles here, and today we're going to talk about incense. I woke up and realized I had the house to myself, so I was like, I'm gonna drag out all my incense shit and my two favorite incense books, right? So this is Incense, Crafting and Use of Magical Scents by Carl F Neal, new and expanded. So, we're gonna start with the table of contents, because I know that everyone loves that. And again, we need to petition Amazon to show us the table of contents of books. I want to know the table of contents before I buy a book. I'd probably buy a lot less books and a lot more of other books, right? Trying to make sure I'm really excited today to do this, so I'm really trying to make sure that I don't go too fast on the table of contents. I mean, you can always pause to read, but it's kind of a pain in the ass to pause. Because Carl F Neal does subheadings in his table of contents. So throughout the chapter, there are going to be subheadings, and he lists all of those subheadings in his table of contents, which I love, because it really gets you a very well-rounded idea of everything that is in the book. It's like if a table of contents was also like an index, and you could get, you know, like the best of everything, right? I have always been an incense snob. I just always have been. This book explained to me why I am always such an incense snob. Because, wow, there was actually a method to my madness when it came to incense. And I realized that method when I read this book, because I was like, oh my God, he gets it. Carl F Neal also has a YouTube channel, Carl Neal, and he shows you, it's been a minute since I've been on there, but he does reviews of different electrical incense burners. He shows you how to do different styles of incense burning, right? All kinds of really, really fun things. There's endless possibilities when it comes to incense, because incense has been used all around the world for so many thousands of years. All around the world, and different cultures have done so many different things with incense across time that you're going to find a method that really speaks to you once you start researching it. And in this book, Carl F Neal already does a lot of that research for you. Now in this book, Carl Neal really focuses on the more concrete and like physical aspects of incense. He does have another book, Incense Magic, and we're going to get into this one too. Hopefully we have time. If we don't have time, I'll be filming another video back to back, right? But I think we can get them both in one video. So yeah, the cultures that he kind of focuses on here in the introduction is India, China, Tibet, Japan, Europe, and native and pre-Columbian civilizations, right, in America. So a lot of very, very interesting things. And with the Native American and pre-Columbian civilizations, you'd think it's all just dry herbs, right? Nay. They burned a lot of resins, especially in the Valley of Oaxaca and modern-day Mexico, and south of there. They did a lot of copal, and there are tons of different types of copal, and I have all three of them. I love it. Black copal smells kind of like black pepper, but like also very tree-y and like dirt. A very beautiful smell. It's a very, very beautiful smell. Anyway, he also talks about the philosophies of this book. Magical philosophy, the whole herb method and essential oils, the dry mix method, traditional recipes. He does share some traditional recipes. Concerns about saltpeter, right? Experimentation. So, what makes saltpeter so bad? I know that if you're watching this and you're witchy, you've probably got incense from, you know, the head shops and smoke shops and things that sell a lot of glass pipeware type places. Those are called masala sticks because they are incense packed onto a wooden rod, right? That wooden rod is going to affect your smell, right? But a lot of those incenses that you buy from the head shops, we've all seen them. We all know what they are. I forget the name of the brand, but they have like fizz and things like that. Fizz was one of the ones that I thought was less overpowering, right? So I'd always buy the fizz one because it actually had a nice, mellow, clean scent, whereas a lot of them smelled way too perfumey to me and just kind of acrid in the nose. And you want to know why that is? Carl F Neal told me why that was. Okay, because a lot of those sticks, masala sticks, I don't even buy commercial masala sticks anymore. A lot of it is sawdust packed full of saltpeter to make it combustible, right? And then dipped in perfume honeys. That's not natural, and like not everything has to be natural. I get that. But when you're burning, like no wonder it always smelled acrid in my nose, and like, you know, like way up here, right? Even the fizz smell way up here, you'd be like, you get that just a weird burning sensation up here. It's the saltpeter, and that stuff is not good to be inhaling in your lungs all the time. There are much better ways to hide your pot smell, right? And I'm going to tell you about a certain brand that I love. So maybe we'll get into incense magic in another video, because we're already at 6 minutes and I'm still talking about this book and the physical aspects of incense. So the physical aspects of incense, very important, right? And he talks about different types of incense too. And a word about charcoal, because again, those, like anywhere you go, you're going to see Instalight charcoals. Guess what those are full of? Saltpeter. That's why it crackles and turns on so quickly. Yes, it takes a really, really long time to get natural charcoal to burn. Hold on, I have natural. Yeah, I have natural charcoal right here. This is natural charcoal. Look at this. Do you know how long it takes this baby to light up? Do you have any idea how long it takes for this thing to light up? A very long time, but it is so worth it because you get a much cleaner smell out of it. Real charcoal doesn't smell like shit when you burn it, okay? Those Instalights do. And if you smoke hookah with Instalights, guess what you're inhaling, baby? Saltpeter! You're inhaling that shit straight into your freaking lungs. That's why if you're going to go to a hookah bar, go to a Middle Eastern owned or operated, or somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing, right? Because they use coconut coals or bamboo coals, and you will get such a cleaner taste. I never understood until I moved to Houston and met Middle Eastern friends and went to a Middle Eastern cafe and was like, well, this shit tastes amazing. It's not supposed to taste like a cigarette, guys, okay? Saltpeter is the devil, literally. Smells like sulfur. Should tell you something. Anyway, I digress. That was just me being funny. So, you can burn things over charcoal, right? Now, if you burn something on top of coal, it's going to burn extremely quickly. What you're actually supposed to do whenever you burn something on top of charcoal is let it cool off and let it develop a nice layer of ash, right? And the thickness of the layer of ash, right, is going to determine how hot it burns. Frankincense you can burn with just a little thin layer of ash, but myrrh will smell like ass if you burn it directly on charcoal. You really want to wait until your coal is down to nothing and there's a shit ton of ash on it. But then at that point, what's the point? And then you want to very carefully place your tears of myrrh onto the ash so that it doesn't hit the coal directly. There are better ways to burn incense now, and we'll talk about those right now. There are incense, loose incense, which is like the resins and the herbs and things like that. Powder incense. Powder incense is really fun. This comes a lot from Asia and stuff. What you're going to do is you're going to stamp, right, something or draw something into a nice bowl of fine bamboo ash, right? And you're going to put your loose incense, not your loose incense, your powdered incense there, right? And then you're going to ignite it on top of the ash, and it makes a beautiful smell. Not all powdered incense are going to be already combustible like that. So what you're going to want to do sometimes is just put it into an electric burner. Electric burners are good for literally everything. You can crank up the dial and control the heat a lot more. So literally, if you don't know how to burn something that's loose or powdered, you can't go wrong with one of those. Masala sticks, which we talked about. Cones, which you know about. Everybody, it's just cones. Joss sticks. Joss sticks literally have no stick inside of them. The whole stick is the incense. And my favorite brand, Shoyedo, does this a lot. A lot of your Asian incenses, this whole thing is incense. There's no stick in here. The incense is the stick, right? So, Shoyedo is amazing, but I digress. Coil incense. Shoyedo also sells coil incense. This is more specifically like Tibet and Japan and China. Those areas use a lot of coil incense. And he talks about how in Tibet they have giant coils of incense, right? That just hang from the ceilings. And like just that visual really makes me want to travel the world and see it for myself. But I'm po, so we're not. Incense pellets, which is like moist incense. I've never used this. I can't say anything. Other forms, and choosing the form that is best for you. Right? So I found that because of what Carl F Neals talks about, your time, your materials, where you live. I live in a very humid climate, right? So I end up just burning a lot of dry herbs and resins because it fits my climate and my lifestyle of not having time to mix things for myself. So you can make your own incense. And all you did was pop a frankincense tear and pop a copal tear and a dragon's blood tear in the same little incense burner, and boom, you just made your own incense, right? It doesn't have to be complicated every single time, and that's what I like about him. He does talk a lot about hazards and allergies and smoke detectors. So this, like I said, is the very practical book. He has recipes. He does talk about, in this book, he does talk about visualizations while you're making your incense, which I think is a very important thing to talk about, because anytime you're making something for a magical purpose, you want to have that visualization in there while you're making said thing, right? Or you could buy incense and charge it with a visualization as well. We haven't left the sphere of witchy woo-woo. We just added a lot of complexity and practicality of incense into it in this book, which I love. He talks about the best way to make substitutions. He also talks about killing versus non-killing ingredients, which you'd think that, you know, we're talking about herbs here. What does it matter? It matters a lot, babe. Because with the sage, I don't burn sage. I burn frankincense. I am from a old world kind of genealogy, right? Clearly. Frankincense is our incense of choice for banishment. We already have that. Leave the natives' sage alone. We've all heard this before, because sage is going extinct. Sagebrush takes a very long time to grow. It's not sustainable for constant farming. And a similar thing is happening with Palo Santo, although I think that they've gotten a better handle on Palo Santo now, as well as sage. But you still don't want to overuse those things when you don't come from that culture and you don't know the significance, right, of that herb. Why is that a cleansing herb? You don't know. But why is frankincense a cleansing herb? Not herb, but resin. Frankincense and myrrh, what's so important about that, right? Like, reach into your little Christian society mind, and you've definitely heard of the kings that came to bring Jesus gifts when he was a baby, right? What were those gifts? Frankincense and myrrh, right? They are considered holy, right, from the culture that we come from. Just because they are considered holy in a Christian context does not mean that they were always holy in a Christian context. You can use them for pagan shit all the time, right? But you need to have a cultural context for the cleansing herbs you use, and then you will never have to worry about cultural appropriation or anything, because your culture already has a rich index of herbs and resins to use that you don't have to take things away from other cultures. My opinion. Now, is it Is it nice to find something and burn it and see how it smells? All the time. But is it okay to burn that herb or resin into extinction just so you can feel powerful and witchy? Doesn't seem like a good trade-off to me. There is a fine line to walk. What I like about Carl F Neal is that he talks about that fine line every time. And there are a lot of incense ingredients that are endangered, right? So one of the reasons why this is the really bougie Shoyedo incense, it's I think it's called alderwood, but they actually have their own grove of heirloom alderwood that they use, right, in their incenses. But internationally speaking, this tree is almost extinct, right? So like, you know, cedar has a really nice smell, you know, pine has a nice smell, but it's a very soft wood, but cedar is a little bit of a harder wood. It's used more in construction. And whenever you walk into a room that has cedar furniture on a hot summer day, you can smell that cedar in that room, and that's just, divine. Most of their incense looks like this, right? And as I was reading this book, and these are all joss sticks, right? As I was reading this book, Carl F Neal talks about Shoyedo specifically, and I was like, yes, I knew I chose the right one. But yeah, they have a lot of heirloom recipes. They have been family owned and operated for over 300 years, guys. They really know what they're doing when it comes to incense. And this one, Cherry Blossoms, or that is the Japanese name. I'm not about to butcher it because unlike my sister, I am not a weeb. Smells amazing. Now, they also tell you what is inside of it, right? Ingredients: sandalwood, cinnamon, benzoin, clove, and they always put and spices at the end because they have a proprietary blend of and spices that they can't tell anyone, right? My favorite is White Cloud. This one is my favorite. Okay, and its ingredients are benzoin, number one. I love benzoin, guys. Love it. So, benzoin, sandalwood, clove, borneol, and spices. So, not a lot of incense brands I bought from would actually tell you the first three things you see, right? You burn an incense, you buy something from Shoyedo, and you're like, I don't really like that. Look at the first ingredient. Maybe you don't like sandalwood. Or if you absolutely love something, look at the first three ingredients. Benzoin. I love benzoin. So I went and found some benzoin resin, which is really hard to find since the pandemic. Really hard to find. So I haven't been burning what I have left except on super special occasions. Yeah, so this is the practicality part of incense, and I'm at 18 minutes, but I want to talk to you guys about everything else though. Okay, this baby. I ordered this off Amazon, but it's not delivered by Prime, right? So it took a couple of weeks, but this is basically what it is. You have this. I do not burn resin straight on this. You can and clean it, but no. I like to use a tinfoil boat. Boop. Well, that's upside down, but you put your resins and all your sticky stuff in here inside your little tinfoil boat. As you can see, I've already burned something in it. Then you set it on there. Then you put a little tea light down here. Voila. You want it to burn slower, so like whenever I am burning amber, very, very delicate, or myrrh, you want it way up here, but you can move it down and up the rack to suit your needs. Now you want to set it before you start having the tea light under there because all of this is going to get hot. This is a really, really good dish to have. It looks very pretty, but it also has varying size holes in it. Right, so you've clearly got the tiny holes for masala sticks. These both fit the two sizes of Shoyedo that you're going to see, right? Which is the very tall and thin joss sticks and the short and fat joss sticks, right? So if you're going to get into this, you kind of want to have your tools. But something else that I like about Shoyedo is that with any purchase of their incense, you're going to get a water-soluble biodegradable incense holder that will hold the size of incense that you just bought. Gotta love Shoyedo. They are my favorite. I sped through that, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a 20-minute video instead of a 15-minute one, so I do hope that my ramblings make sense. And until next time, happy dabbling. Oh, if you liked this, please hit like and subscribe. And maybe I'll do more incense-based stuff, show you more of my incense materials, and things like that. So hit like and subscribe on this video and I will get more of that stuff to you. I'm probably going to turn around and film the Incense Magic book review, so you'll be getting that literally right now as well. So until next time, happy dabbling and bye-bye.